All right, I'm going to help you try to find the area under this curve right here, basically 5x plus 7x squared from 0 to 1. So a quick sketch always helps, which I've kind of done there real quick. And what you do is you break this thing into little rectangles here. So how you divide them up will dictate kind of what the problem looks like. So I'm going to divide up my rectangles kind of like this. And there's kind of like what's called a dummy variable, an index variable that goes with this. So this one right there, that's our first rectangle. That's I equals 1. Here's our rectangle for I equals 2, I equals 3, and so forth. And the area of each rectangle is a length times a width. Kind of a crummy picture here, but length, width, length, width. All right, let's talk about the widths. So the widths, those are delta x's. And those are always equal to, right, this total distance, which is 1 over how many rectangles here. And we're just going to leave that vary. So if we say we're going to break this into n rectangles, the width there, the delta x, would be 1 over n. The other thing we're going to need is a little formula for the x values here. The x value there is delta x. And the x value here is 2 delta x, if you look at the picture. In general, I times delta x is putting you at the right-hand side of any one of these rectangles. The height of the rectangle, right, that's this little distance in red here, like here and here and here. That's the function value at the x coordinates we want, right? And I usually call those in my videos like f of x sub I, where there's what our x sub I is. Okay, so the area of the ith rectangle, you want this to be kind of general, is equal to the red distance, which is f of x sub I, times the green distance there, which is delta x, right? Which is equal to now, okay, let's see, x sub I is equal to I delta x, and delta x is 1 over n. So this is going to equal I over n. So this is going to be f of x sub I, which is I over n. Now I'm going to take our function value there. So it's going to be 5 times I over n plus 7 times I over n squared. Plus, right, now we got to do this term, 7 times x sub I, and that's being squared. So here's the formula for the ith rectangle. Now what you do is you say, all right, the total area now is going to be the sum of all of these. So it's going to be the sum from I equals 1 to n of this thing. I don't feel like recopying it, so I'm going to cheat. Copy. Paste. Okay. Now the part where it said find a formula for, all right. Well, whoops. Seems like I got an extra term there. Oh, we don't, I'm sorry. We don't need this one. My bad. I've got that term already. I'm sorry about that. It's late at night. We don't need that term. So here is our formula for the a sub i's. That's the area of the ith rectangle for any given I. Then we sum those all up from I equals 1 to 10. That gives us an area estimate. And now what we can do is break this up. We can write this as the sum from I equals 1 to n of 5I over n plus the sum I equals 1 to n of 7I squared over n squared. Now, here's where these are called summation formulas come in. The sum here from, I just took these off the internet here. We're going to use this one. The sum from n equals 1 to k of n. Okay, and we got different variables. We got to kind of, I'm going to kind of write this in the language I've been using. The sum from I equals 1 to n of I. That's basically what that says, is equal to n times n plus 1 over 2. All I did is rewrote that formula in terms of the variables I'm using down here. you're going to use this one here. And then this guy right here, I'm going to rewrite this using the variables here that I've chosen. All right, sum, all right, the n is my I, from I equals 1 to n of I squared is equal to n times n plus 1 times 2n plus 1 over 6. You're going to use this one here. So when it says to find a formula for, look at that problem again for you. It says to find a formula for the Riemann sum S sub n. That's what this is going to be. That's what this is going to equal. Okay. Then the next part is you're going to put a limit as n goes to the infinity in front of it, and you're going to find a bunch of stuff. We'll divide out. So hopefully that's enough to get that problem done. Not the best video I ever made, but if you're still struggling with it, ask. We can, I can make another one, or we can get together and chat about it. Right? Hopefully that will get you going. Have a great day.